Alex Albon's post-break qualifying and finishing form have made him the superstar on the grid, and that doesn't come without its own consequences. As of now, Albon is one of the most wanted drivers on the grid, especially after making Sargent look so bad in the same team, driving the same machinery, and one of the teams that could use him much better than anybody else is Ferrari. With the current drama that's ongoing between Leclerc and Sainz, proven by the last lap racing in Monza, could Albon be the solution that Ferrari are looking forward to in terms of bringing the next Raikkonen in their team? Williams' season has been off to a great start, and 100% of that effort goes to Alex Albon. Not to take anything away from the rookie Logan Sargent, who seems to be improving race by race, but the entirety of Williams' points are brought by the Thai, who is currently keeping the team in the 7th position in the Constructors' Championship, with 21 points to his and the team's name. Now, out of those points, 10 were scored in the last 2 races, and it seems like Albon is the right man for Williams to keep pushing in the right direction and finally bring themselves back where they belong. But there is one very juicy question that needs to be asked at the very beginning of this video. Is Albon going to want to continue this project by Williams, the team that's admitted to having outdated facilities and is a long way from fighting for the championship? Or would he use this as his own leverage and try to join a team that's much more likely to be fighting for the championship sooner rather than later? Yes, I know that whenever Ferrari comes to mind, you think of failure, missed opportunities and blunders, but in Monza, we'd seen that the team can pick up the pace when they want to, and the straight line speed of the SF23 was very promising to build upon. While this season is more or less over when it comes to the championship fight, it's safe to say that the upcoming one will bring a lot of turbulence to the drivers' lineup. As of now, we're very likely to be witnessing the calm before a storm, and from what we can say from personal experience, the storm never disappoints. Both Sainz and Leclerc have a contract with Ferrari until the end of the 2024 season, but that alone doesn't make them immune to the trade talks, and right now, it seems like Sainz is the most endangered driver compared to Leclerc. The Monegasque has this superstar mentality at Ferrari, and the fact that he fought so close with Sainz until the very last lap of the race, even though he was told to lift off and bring home safe and secure points, goes to show that the situation between him and Sainz is not the best, even though they're trying to hide it perfectly from the media. The smooth operator did make a strong statement with his P3 finish, and by holding Verstappen off for 13 laps, the most out of any other driver this season, other than Perez, there seems to be an opening for his future with the Tifosi if he continues with this uprising form and brings home solid points. But the question is Ferrari going to be satisfied with the mediocrity of both of their drivers? We've seen Albon score 21 points in one of the worst cars on the grid, and that in itself deserves a massive applause as he single-handedly put the team in a position that they could have only dreamt about. This just goes to show that it wasn't his fault that he didn't perform as well as they would have expected him in Red Bull. It's just the fact that in the Austrian team, the car is mostly built around Verstappen, and you see what happens when Albon is given a car that suits his driving style perfectly. Now, imagine what could happen if he signed with Ferrari, a team that's had its fair share of struggles with keeping the same lineup of drivers for more than 2 or 3 seasons, and had a say on how he would like the car to operate. If he was able to lift Williams ahead of Haas, who has 2 very competitive drivers, AlphaTauri, the team that was in the midfield up until 2 years ago, and Alfa Romeo, who were very prospective themselves and have a 10-time race winner in their team, then I don't think that Ferrari should wait twice if the opportunity ever comes along. Even Albon himself said that these rumours are suiting him more than he could possibly admit to the media, despite the fact that he has a contract with Williams until 2025, the predicted season of the replacement between him and Sainz. When talking about this matter a couple of weeks ago, Albon went on to say, "Yes, I would say so, whether these are just rumours. Good rumours are always nice. I think it just underscores that the year has been going well so far. I'm just happy to hear those things. Of course it's just rumours, but I'm not complaining." Now, this was before he scored 10 points in the last 2 races, and keep in mind that even he himself understands the magnitude of the proposal that's being offered here. I know if he goes to Ferrari and replaces Sainz, he would most likely find a very big obstacle in tackling down Leclerc, the driver who would have much bigger authority in the team, but if we're to look at what Albon has been doing in the past couple of months, then I don't think that he would be that scared of this opportunity. While the future of Charles Leclerc does seem very certain at Ferrari, according to the Italian outlet Corriere dello Sport, Ferrari is preparing themselves for a moment in which they would have to replace Sainz due to the fact that the Spaniard won't like the circumstances under which he would have to work under the commandment of Vasseur. When writing about this matter, the outlet said, "If for Charles Leclerc there seems to be few doubts about his stay in Maranello, the future of Carlos Sainz does not seem equally certain. The first name to emerge for a possible replacement for the Spaniard, amid reports of the irreconcilability between Galito's sacrosanct ambition to become world champion and Ferrari's determined intention to become Leclerc-centric, is Alex Albon." Now, the situation between Sainz and Ferrari doesn't seem to be looking very good, and the only way that he would remain with the team is if they could promise him to build the team centered around him, which so far hasn't been the case. Even with 3 DNFs, Leclerc's deficit to Sainz is just 9 points in the Drivers' Championship, as the podium finish in Monza was the first for the Spaniard. Whenever he was on the track, it was either amateur mistakes like the one in Australia that kept him from the podium finish, or just a lack of consistency to compete for P3 that marked his season so far. And truth be told, apart from last year's Silverstone and Monaco Grand Prix, Sainz wasn't really brilliant with Ferrari. This might be the main reason as to why the team would opt out for Leclerc in the foreseeable future. And just like that, Sainz could pursue a new career in Audi and a fresh new start, where he could finally be treated as the #1 driver. He did have his chance at McLaren and Ferrari, but it seems like he's lacking what the opponents get out of him: consistency, speed and precision. He's a sharp driver who always seems to be judging the situation on the track better than Leclerc, but if you compare what Albon is currently doing with Williams with the situation at Ferrari, I think you'll have a clear answer as to whether or not we're going to see a replacement for the smooth operator sooner rather than later. Numerous other media outlets such as Marca have written about this scenario turning into reality, mostly because of 2 things. Vasseur has already approached Albon for contractual talks, and the fact that both Sainz and Albon's contracts end in 2024 goes to show that there is wiggle room for this opportunity to happen in real life. Albon would be the high point scorer in Ferrari and would have a much better opportunity to prove that he's built out of championship material. And if he is to stay in Williams, I guess the highest goal he would have would be to bring the team back in the midfield and fight for the occasional podium finish. This is slowly but surely turning out to be one very interesting silly season in the making. And even though nothing is official yet, keep your eyes and ears open because the drivers never rest. It's every man for himself. And if we learn anything from 2022's silly season, it's that opportunities are grabbed when they're presented firsthand, not regretted a couple of years later. So after hearing all this, do you think that Albon will make the switch to Ferrari if the opportunity is presented to him? Let us know in the comments down below.